In a realm that exists between dream and reality, where light and shadow twist together into one endless storm, three ancient races tear at each other without pause. The mystics, the insectors, the cryptids. Their war is older than memory itself, so ancient it became the heartbeat of their world, a rhythm of destruction that never stops. The mystics, once divine, now hunger for dominion over all realms. The insectors, children of order, march with hive-born precision. And the cryptids, chaotic offspring of magicules, exist only to destroy, cunning and extremely belligerent despite their lack of intelligence. Together they form the Trinity of Ruin. And in their endless conflict, one truth remains. There is no peace. There never was. When the cryptids multiply too far, the mystics and insectors unite to cull them. When their numbers fall, they turn their blades upon each other. Balance is an illusion. Alliance, a brief pause before slaughter. Yet beneath their eternal bloodshed lies a single shared desire: to escape, to reach other worlds, to flee their stagnant prison. But the only gate that connects their dimension to others, the underworld gate, belongs to the demons. And to beings like Feldway, that was an insult carved into eternity. Feldway, the Lord of the Mystics. His name alone carries the weight of rebellion and fire. To his followers, he is salvation incarnate. To his enemies, he is catastrophe in waiting. But long before he became a god of wrath, he was something else, an angel. The first, the highest, the one chosen by Veldanava himself. When the universe was still a song in its first verse, Veldanava created the 7 primordial angels. At their head stood Feldway, the embodiment of order, obedience, and faith. He was pure purpose given form, his wings vast enough to shadow stars. And when Veldanava named him, he gained something no angel was ever meant to have: free will. He swore eternal allegiance. He called Veldanava my god, my creator, my everything. And together they witnessed the birth of countless races, giants, fairies, vampires, and finally humanity. Fragile, short-lived, flawed beyond reason. Yet in that fragility, Veldanava saw beauty. To protect this new creation, Veldanava ordered Feldway to purge anything that could threaten them. And so the angel obeyed, until the day he met Ivalage, the world destroyer dragon. A creature so immense it could devour suns, so violent it turned every breath into catastrophe. As powerful as a true dragon, the records say, but so lacking in intelligence that communication was impossible. Feldway, the mightiest of angels, faced it head-on and lost. His strength meant nothing. His holy light was swallowed whole. And in that moment of defeat, something in him cracked. He had failed his god's command, failed to protect creation, failed to prove his worth. And yet, Veldanava did not destroy Ivalage. He showed mercy. He banished it instead. To Feldway, that mercy was betrayal. He had given everything: his loyalty, his divinity, his very purpose, and his god rewarded defiance with forgiveness. From Ivalage's discarded body, magicules overflowed into the world, birthing the cryptids, a plague of chaos, an infection of creation. And once again, Veldanava watched and smiled. From the chaos, a new intelligence emerged: Zeranis, the insect lord. Born of bloodshed, he purged the unstable cryptids, building order where none should exist. Veldanava approved again. He called it balance. But to Feldway, it was blasphemy. This was not creation. It was corruption. And for the first time, the loyal Seraph began to doubt. Aeons passed. In this semi-physical realm, time flowed like molten glass, reshaping everything it touched. The angels who descended with Feldway, Zerario, Obela, Cornu, were twisted by endless exposure to magicules. Their divine forms melted, reformed, became something new. No longer seraphim, no longer pure. They became mystic angels. And those who served them, the mystics, beings of immense magical power, neither holy nor unholy. Gods reborn from their own contamination. Across the chasms of creation, Zeranis's brood evolved as well. The insectors became a hive of perfect order, soldiers of instinct, machines made of will. And together, the two species, mystics and insectors, formed an uneasy truce. Not peace, never peace, only necessity. When the cryptids surged, they united to exterminate them. When the numbers fell, they turned on each other again, endless repetition, eternal decay. And then, silence. The god who had made them, gone. At first, they believed it was temporary, that Veldanava would return as he always did. But centuries passed, then millennia, until faith became delusion, and delusion rotted into despair. Feldway, the first angel, the chosen of creation, stood before the empty sky and whispered, Otherwise, there is no explaining why the supposedly immortal true dragon hadn't come back to life. That realization tore through him like fire through parchment. The god he worshipped was not coming back, and if that was true, then what meaning did obedience have? What value did purity hold? Why should creation live if its creator had abandoned it? Feldway's love turned sour. His devotion curdled into hate. He began to see every race Veldanava had created, humans, elves, dwarves, beast folk, even demons, as the thieves who had stolen God from him. They had captivated Veldanava, distracted him, weakened him. They were the reason he was gone. In that grief, a new resolve was born. If the creator would not return to his world, then Feldway would destroy it. He would unify all dimensions under his dominion. He would burn the old order and replace it with his own. A new reality, not of mercy, but of control. "O Veldanava, my god," he cried into the void, "if you wish to punish me, go right ahead. I would seek nothing more. So please, hurry up, or your world will cease to exist." That was no plea. That was prophecy. From that divine sorrow came the birth of new races, the magic-born beings who would one day stand as eternal enemies of humankind. They were his reflection, fragments of a broken faith scattered across reality. But even then, Feldway sought one last ally. He turned to Zeranis, Lord of the Insectors, the one creature whose will rivaled his own. Feldway offered an alliance. Together they could annihilate the cryptids, claim the surface world, and ascend beyond the demon's gate. But Zeranis' pride refused. "There is only one worthy enough to send me orders," he said, "and now that he is gone, I will do as I please." For Feldway, those words were unforgivable. "Then you will be the first to die." In that instant, every fragile thread of order unraveled. The balance of the realm shattered. The three races descended into absolute war. The mystics unleashed forbidden sorceries, bending the fabric of the realm itself. The insectors, countless as stars, responded with hives that devoured land and sky alike. The cryptids, drawn to chaos, erupted once more, flooding the battlefield in numbers beyond counting. The world screamed. Skies burned, oceans boiled, the ground itself wept magicules. It was the collapse of all order, the beginning of a war that even gods could not stop. And at its center stood Feldway, his wings torn, his eyes filled with divine fury and despair. His voice broke through the chaos like thunder. "If this is the world you desired, my God, then so be it. I will paint it in my own colors." That was the moment creation turned against its creator. Not in anger alone, but in pain. Because in the end, Feldway wasn't rebelling against Veldanava. He was trying to bring him back. Every conquest, every war, every death, a desperate cry to force his god to look upon him again.